Let's look on different way we can create density in the atmosphere by using volumetric model of atmosphere. So we'll go to atmosphere editor, and right here we have it volumetric version. This a little bit earlier version than the standard spectral, but it is will provide a quite bit effect for us what we want to achieve. Instantly you can see we have a nice density applied. Overall, let's look on the properties, and we have this section with the fog settings, haze, glow intensity, and also quality on the side. We also have a fog profile that help us see what profile of the fog will display it on the side. So let's look on some. First, in the fog, we have a color that we can specify color of the fog, and you can go ahead from desaturated, darker, or very bright. So you can go with different type of fogs. Let's, as example, set a little bit desaturated. We also can set a different density. We can even type the density if we need it, and you can notice right here how it's changed. As well, we have it fallout. Fallout, it's this portion on the bottom. It's tell how smooth the fog will translate to all height. So, for example, we want to create a very thick fog on the bottom. We can increase, and right here you have it 100% and a fallout going in a way the slow and very sharp, very dense on the bottom. The next we have it haze. That is very similar to the fog in a way it is working with the sliders. So we have a density, and we also have a fallout as well. Similar to the fog, except how it said before in previous tutorials, the haze will go through all atmosphere to the higher, and fog will reside on the bottom of your atmosphere. But you notice right here we have it already very nice. Just only with few slidings, we have a nice haze and fog, very density applied. So if we look on our platform that I create with the plants, you can see our platform 150 by 150 meters. So from this to this point, 150 meters, fill up with ecosystem trees. It's a very basic scene. I just want to see how these trees will work a little bit better with the fog, and so we can see nicer in the distance. Okay, let's go back to atmosphere. Again, with these simple settings, we can increase a lot of fog, like you can see right here, create a very dense look, very misty, and we can reduce slightly on a haze, or we can go take haze and let's take actually darker. That will create a little bit less glowing effect. As well, notice right here we have glow intensity. Glow intensity is how much particles will emit lights between each other in the atmosphere. Our slider have a safe area from 0 to 100%. However, you always can increase by going inside and type higher values. In some cases, you'll notice some atmosphere presets, these values can go up to 500, 600 and more percent to creating very high, very glowing atmospheres. And you can notice right in some areas creating quite a bit density this way. Okay, so let's just bring a little bit down right here. And we can go preview this. So let's go render to screen. And just to compare with previous what we use different atmosphere like spectral, you can see how much fog we applied in haze to this already. Of course, with the all volumetric type of atmosphere, the quality boost is very important. But again, with all the quality, it's come price to pay. It's a render time. So we can increase to remove some of this grayness. But again, if you notice, right now, because we're on very low resolution, it's take a little bit longer to render. But if you compare these two, you see the grain around, and with boosted up quality, we have nice and smooth render. To create additional effect for these atmospheres, other properties you can modify it. For example, as a sun, currently it says global radiosity, and you can modify by creating sharper effect with a sunlight, or going all the way with the ambient down. and create more gloomy effect type. So let's go change our ambient light as well, create a little bit more darker. And you know, this is too much cyan. We'll go to the bluish kind of a little bit more colder. So you can see how it's with our ambient light balance and the lights, it's changed quite a bit. Also, as we're using volumetric, you can notice right here we have our decay on the sunlight, so we can increase to add a little bit more warmer on the bottom colors. Okay, let's change our fog color a little bit more colder. Okay, and change our haze. So just overall create this little bit more colder effect. Next, let's look to all tabs. So sun is a similar light. We just look on this and we're using global radiosity, so it looks similar, except we also have an ability to change overall sky color, so it will affect a little bit more. We did not add any clouds. We can add a lower level, but again, the one thing when we start adding, keep it in mind that it's not a spectral atmosphere. So if we're using spectral clouds, they won't act exactly same as in spectral atmosphere. So they will be a little bit more flattened when we add them. So, and you can see right here, they do not affect a similar, and even some properties is not available to us. However, you can still use them if you wanted to create kind of a little bit more darker effect. Just pop up. Just overall add this gloominess, darkness to the sky. Okay, let's go to maybe put it 200 meters, so we'll have them very low. But it's create this effect of the rainy atmosphere. Again, fog we already look. Wind will be similar effect. And also we have additional effects you can apply that lens flare or environmental atmosphere map, and we can apply some of the rain and snow particles to this. So for example, right here we'll go just default and let's go render. Okay, you can see right here we have very fast settings. We just created somewhat dense, kind of almost with a rainy effect. Again, this will take very fast setup, and if you want more details in accurate, of course you need work a little bit into this, but it's just one other techniques to using to create this density in the atmosphere. So let's go ahead and other options what I want to add here, if I want to create more interesting effect, I'm probably going to use it a different spotlights of the light, pointing them more towards the camera right here. Enable on our lights the volumetric lighting. You can see we start having strikes going. Let's pop up even more right here, a little bit too much maybe. And before we change, let's go to light gel, and we'll just go preloaded light gel. Sometimes in a light gel you want modified to create higher contrast, so it will create a little bit more interesting light strikes. Okay, and let's reduce our scale right here to 0.5 maybe. Okay, click OK, and we can just reduce slightly down. So we'll see time when you can see right here we have it nice. This edge will just pop up a little bit softness and spread a little bit more. And let's increase fallout. So the softness of this edge, just remove this rim. Again, this is just an example of very fast how we can create, and you can see right here we can increase a little bit density with our volumetric lights. Okay, other effect you can, if you take this light and you place it up front of the camera, facing directly the camera, This is another way because it's, well, you remember we have it glowing on the particles. So by doing this, we actually can create a little bit more even density in our atmosphere by doing so. So right here, and overall we create a density, we add a little bit more gloomier look, we can add additional glowing, and you can see between these two we have a little bit more separation and also increase this kind of distance between lighter and darker. So we have a little bit more effect of the density in the fog. The other things also remember, you saw how the lights light up. If you take your sunlight and you bring up front of the camera, the effect will also lighting up the particles and will create additional density. This is actually very visible and very more affected kind of if we're using spectral atmospheres, which will look, and you will notice how with this glowing effect and putting sound up front will create additional density. So overall, I want to just show you very fast just adjustments. We can bring like right here. Actually, I'll bring down hide, bigger spread. Okay, and right here just example how fast we can create interesting atmospheres with a density. Again, in volumetric, and I have some other tutorials where we're using volumetric to creating road going inside, and with these fast fogs and a haze you can create very fast render, very interesting kind of perspective and settings in your sceneries. So thank you for watching this tutorial from Geekatplay Studio, and be sure to watch our next tutorials where we continue exploring different settings and techniques to using in a spectral atmosphere to creating those additional densities and fogs and atmospheric effects.